Hi, my name is Ian Mean, editor of the Western Daily Press. Tonight at the Distinguished Address Series at the University of West of England, I'm interviewing Matthew Layton. Matthew is managing partner of Clifford Chance. They're actually the world's largest law firm in terms of the number of lawyers and revenues. 1.3 billion, that is their turnover. And tonight, Matthew is talking to the subject, a journey of change, past, present and future, the development of the global legal market. Matthew, you're managing partner of Clifford Chance. Rather frighteningly, the world's largest law firm in terms of the number of lawyers and revenues. Is that right? Something like fees of 1.3 billion?
Yeah, we've got just 1.35 billion sterling of revenue last year. Which puts us there. There's often a bit of jockeying according to the firms. There are a number of firms of around our size now in the market, but we're the largest UK firm by some way, UK-based global firm.
And what's your USP in your market?
Well, I think firstly our breadth. We embarked very early on in my career with the firm. I've been with the firm for 30 years. We very early on in my career, we identified the global opportunities and the impact of increasingly interconnected markets. We've really built our practice around that with a long-term strategy of investment to establish our reach across the globe, particularly focused on the major financial centres. So in terms of scale, we're now over 3,400 lawyers across 36 offices and
26
jurisdictions. So that is one aspect of it, and obviously across those offices we're very focused on the strength of expertise, particularly for major global corporates and also major financial institutions, and the increasingly importance of the financial investor community. And that's really where we're focusing our attention and priorities.
So that's an enormous amount of people. You're all competing. You've got something like 400 partners?
Yeah, well, actually 600 partners, nearly 600 partners. So we have 400 equity partners and 180 non-equity partners.
So how do you keep that number of people both in order and also competing?
Well, we don't want people to compete. For a start, that's the philosophy of our firm is it's very much a one-team philosophy. That's what our clients expect us to have. The strength is we've got the breadth and reach in terms of geographies and expertise, but you can only deliver that to the clients if you're pulling it together as one team. So competition within the firm is a no-no. How do you keep the firm and a partnership of that nature? Well, partnerships are unique and unusual organisations. So ours is a very flat organisation. In terms of the partner status, we thrive on consensus and building that collegiate, collaborative culture. And of course, you've got to have the right metrics in place as well, because we operate a global profit pool, which is unusual in the legal market. And we also,
how does that work?
So effectively, every partner shares in the profits of the firm wherever they're generated around the globe. So we don't look in contrast with, for example, the accountancy firms that tend to be on a regional or a country basis, although they are connected as a global firm, but in terms of profit, they're regional, country based. Now, a global profit pool has amazing advantages, and a lot of managing partners of other professional services firms say if only we had a global profit pool. But you do need to operate it rigorously and make sure you're building consensus around it. But it has great advantages in enabling you to prioritise investment into new markets, new areas of business, and also sort of incentivize everybody to play as a team, because the better we do as a team, the better we do collective, and we all share in the upside of that.
And how do you market that, Matthew, across so many countries? How do you market that expertise?
Yeah, well, we're very focused in terms of organising our business and the approach to developing our business down sectors and client lines. So although we've got lawyers across a broad range of expertise, from banking, finance, regulatory, corporate, commercial, employment, tax, etc., across the whole range, we really organise and develop our business through sector and client lines. So we look to develop very deep, long-term, sustainable relationships with clients who have a need for our expertise and knowledge, and therefore develop that through particular strategies for each individual client. And that's really important, because in order to make sure you're looking at what is going to work for a client and how you really add value to the client. And at the end of the day, they don't come to us with a legal problem, they come to us with a business problem or issue or opportunity, and they want us to help them overcome that issue. So to do that, you've got to really understand not just the sector issues, but the regulatory legal framework, which is obviously where we have our expertise, but also the organisation itself, and how they work, and how the individuals are the objectives of the individuals and the institution and the client. And that's how we sort of constantly look at developing those relationships, so that we are turned to as the sort of expert, trusted advisor of choice for them in terms of their strategic objectives.
Give us an idea of an example of the sort of client you might have internationally.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a couple of examples, actually. So the big financial institutions, which is an area of particular strength, we act for clients such as HSBC, Citibank, JP Morgan, the list goes on. We act for most of the major big financial institutions. We will run those. We'll have a client relationship partner who has overall responsibility for that team. I spend, as the managing partner, I spend a lot of my time meeting with major clients of the firm, making sure that we're understanding their needs and requirements, and taking those messages back into the firm. And the role of the relationship partner is really to bring the voice of the client into the firm, make sure we are looking at how we take and deliver to them the very best of the expertise of the firm. Banks are obviously of a scale and a magnitude that you need quite a lot of infrastructure and structure around those teams, because they're working multi-product, multi-jurisdictional, as well as the sort of headquarter aspects of their business. In contrast, we also act for a lot of asset management businesses. My area, I've been a private equity partner for many years in our business, as well as a sort of general M&A partner, mergers and acquisitions partner. And those clients tend to be much smaller. You're tending to interact with a relatively small team of senior decision makers. And likewise, our team is more concentrated, but they are using our services across the globe. So, for example, I act for a private equity house called Permira, and I'm the relationship partner for Permira, and I've been in that role since they were established in over 20 years ago now. And my role is to really run that relationship and make sure that we are servicing their requirements and the firm they turn to for their legal requirements. But it's a completely different magnitude to, say, the financial institutions. Then in between those, you have sort of major corporate clients like Mondelez, the big food manufacturing group, which again is somewhere in between in the terms of how you develop the relationship. But in all those cases, we're looking to service their needs and be the firm of choice for their legal needs across the globe.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but most lawyers in the UK, for most people, you go to a lawyer if you've probably got a problem. You're actually helping to build someone's business, I guess. Is that right?
We are. I mean, I think it's interesting because there'll be strategic needs that they want our support on. There'll be day-to-day operational needs that they also may need our support on. But also, I think increasingly part of our role is actually helping them manage and avoid risk, as opposed to come to us when they've got a problem. And that, I think, has really become a major focus for the clients and the in-house teams, as they now, for those who are operating on a global scale. If you think what's happened since the global financial crisis, there's been a proliferation of regulation. A lot of it is country specific. Also increased public scrutiny. The impact of social media in terms of managing reputational risk, and also increased political scrutiny. So, increasingly our role is helping them to navigate through that, not just the legal and regulatory framework, but also thinking about how they manage some of those broader, wider risks within their business, and how they have the checks and balances in their business to try and mitigate those risks and avoid those risks. And I think it's a common theme I hear from clients, is the sort of how you manage through what is sort of in some ways is an increasingly ambiguous business environment in which to operate in.
What are the real challenges now, Matthew? We've seen the last few days with HSBC and the controversy surrounding them. They build these stories, don't they? I'm a newspaper man, things build, and you mentioned social media.
Yeah.
This is a worldwide situation in minutes.
Yeah.
How do you sort of handle that?
Well, again, in terms of working with our clients, a lot of it is about scenario planning. A lot of it is about looking at systems, checks and controls they've got within their business. And we do a fair amount of sort of trial runs and working with them through mock situations to help them prepare for those. I mean, it's the same for every business, including our business, because reputations take. It's an age-old saying, but they take years to build, but they can be destroyed in minutes. So that is, as I say, one of the sort of key areas for our clients at the moment. As you say, the pace at which these things can develop with social media and the ripple effects, and understanding how far those ripples can reach is something that we help our clients anticipate and plan for. And also, obviously, if the unforeseens happen, then we're there to support them through those issues as well.
Now, you're speaking this evening at the University of West of England, one of the premier business and law schools. A lot of young people here would love to join a firm like yours. How do they go about it these days to get into a firm like Clifford Chance?
Well, we obviously there's the professional training that's required, so you can pursue a career either having done a law degree or having done other degrees and then convert across to law. So in the UK we have the professional qualifications before they join us as a trainee. People then look to join us for 2 years of a trainee position within the firm.
Right.
What we're looking for within our business is obviously high quality academic and technical skills, but we're also looking for people with really good commercial acumen, and also people who want to be part of a high performance team. So they're ambitious, but they're great team players, because as you mentioned earlier on, we don't thrive when there's internal competition. And I'd certainly advocate and recommend that people should first of all try and get experience within the different law firms, because it's not an environment that's for everybody. And people need to really be motivated by the type of work and the type of clients and the type of team we're working with. So getting the experience so you can actually sort of decide whether it's for you is really important. And secondly, I think looking for opportunities to develop that sort of business awareness and commercial awareness. I always tell a story. I wasn't planning to tell it tonight actually, but I went to Leeds University, and one of my summer jobs was working in a toy supermarket which had been set up by an individual called the Jolly Green Giant of all names in Leeds. And I worked there for a summer, but it was a fantastic opportunity. It was a small team I was working with. The guy who'd set it up got me involved in some of the business aspects of it. I wasn't expecting that. I thought I was sort of stacking the shelves on the floor. But also I got a great experience at dealing with customer service issues. And you learned that basic lesson that you have to think about the impact that you're making on the customer and the customer's experience, and that's something that I take back now into every day into my job, because you've got to put yourself into the shoes of the client, see what's happening from the perspective of the client, and that's very much the same whether you're dealing with a service provider working on your house or going into a store, and the experience you have in the store and how that builds loyalty and trust from that experience. So that to me is one of the lessons I learned very early on, but it's something that I'm always reminded of when I think about what
now
makes,
what about the challenges of the global legal market going forward?
Yeah.
I mean, we're 10 years ahead. You must look in those terms in your in your firm.
Yeah.
Where are we going to be?
Well, I think there are huge opportunities. I think it's a very exciting time. The globalization in terms of the commercial markets is definitely going to continue. I mean, we are in a sort of multi-speed global economy now, with some of the higher growth markets slowing down. China, particularly, you've got geopolitical issues in Eastern Europe. And in the Middle East, you've got the oil price issue, but still you sort of see globalization being a theme for all of our clients. So that's a great opportunity. You're also seeing, and I think law firms and other professional services firms have to recognise that every business is facing downward pressure on cost and a need for greater efficiency and greater value in the service. So that has to be a challenge that we need to rise to as a firm and as an industry to recognise that need. The third element is definitely the potential for disruption in the legal market. I think, and as I'll talk about a little bit this evening, I think the last 30 years, and I've been fortunate to be in the legal market during that period, has been something of a golden age. We've seen lots of reasons for an increased demand for legal services across most sectors. Now I think there's time for disruptors to come into the market, and we've already seen some.
When you say disruptors, what do you mean?
Alternative providers of legal services. So combined with that downward pressure on pricing, clients are looking and saying, well, do I need top quality, highly skilled, experienced lawyers to do all aspects of this particular work and piece of advice, and can I actually find multiple suppliers to provide me with different parts of the service, which if I aggregate it together still gets me to where I want to get to. And that I think is a challenge that law firms need to recognise, and I think offering clients different service models within law firms, or collaborating with other providers, lower cost providers of legal service, some elements of legal services, law firms working together. So actually they provide a compelling offering to their clients is an area that we are very focused on, and as well as looking at how we can continually improve the efficiencies and effectiveness in our own business. And that's linked to the sort of fourth topic I would highlight, which is technology. And I think it's absolutely clear that the technological advancements that are coming in the legal market and are being focused on the legal market are going to cause a huge amount of change and a need to adapt the way we work. So again, many of I'm sure we'll have to talk about it a little this evening, but the Watson technology that IBM, self-learning, artificial intelligence, systems having sort of focused originally on sort of jeopardy in the game show, has now sort of moved to medical diagnosis, but not surprisingly, the global legal market, with the size of it, a knowledge-based market is their target. And we are, again, looking at collaborating with a number of software developers at how elements of the work and the service we provide can use technology to provide a more efficient service to our clients. But lawyers aren't particularly used to change, and they don't particularly embrace change. So part of my role is very much encouraging partners to confront the need for change. The good thing is, I think the younger generation, the new generation of lawyers that we're bringing into the firm and nurturing, really want to embrace that change. They want new ways of working. So the issue is bringing those generations of lawyers together to understand the opportunities that some of these things can bring into the business. But if we don't change, others will move into the space, and the clients will see the advantages that flow from the way technology can liberate knowledge and utilise knowledge to the advantage of the clients. So we have to work with that. I mean, knowledge is very much part of our core assets, so we need to protect it and understand how we can use technology to use it as efficiently and effectively as we can.
Good, Matthew, thank you.